What up, guys and girls? Another brand new video coming at you today. We are back once again for another round of AOR Oceania for season number 5 on the Xbox One. We're here for round number 19 here at the United States Grand Prix, the good old Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Championship, obviously, 220 points is the gap between New Zealand Ryan and LSCM Allen. You can check out where your favourite drivers are. Where's P11 there, just 8 points ahead of LSCM, the Butler there. Ferrari have a commanding 353 point lead over Haas. Alfa Romeo, I think, a 6th or 7th, just one of those places anyway. But we're not doing too bad there. But obviously, there's still a few minor spots up for grabs here, whether that be still in the Drivers' Championship or even the Constructors' Championship. So there's still a little bit of a few things to play out here in these last sort of couple of rounds here for us here as well. We set off here for our first lap. USA, sort of a bit of a, don't know really what to say here, as we lose the back end coming through turn 11 there, I think it is. And that was pretty much where we lost all the margin there on this first lap. Thankfully, it is only the first lap here, so that was probably a bit of an added bonus there. So yeah, we still had plenty of time up our sleeve to try and do another run here. Getting a little bit oversteered there coming out of turn 16, I think it is. Just completing this lap as well. But yeah, it was sort of maybe good things, but other things, bad things. You can see probably had something a little bit to do with the setup maybe as well here. But just was not overly happy. We come across the line, we go P3 somehow, because that was literally a shocking lap. I don't know how that was a decent lap. It's a 33.645, but obviously still a long way to go in this race here as we just pull out of the road of everybody here. LSCM, the Butler, is back with us after missing the last couple of rounds, I think he was, because I think his group, the LSCM group, were doing the Le Mans 24 hours or something along those lines. So
our best lap so far is a 1 minute 33.6.
And I think they may have done a pretty decent job as well. So nice job from those guys. But be more focused now back on this F1 thing. Obviously, still a bit of a battle on in the driver's standings with me, probably, because obviously, like I said, 8 points between us two going to the last couple of rounds here. We're about to head off now for our second run here. We were probably a little bit down on numbers as well. And one notable absentee as well from this race was New Zealand Ryan. Now, you're probably wondering why on earth it was Ryan pretty much bored for this round. But no, I can guarantee you the only reason Ryan did not want to race, because I think this race was sort of the same weekend as the Daytona 24 hours on iRacing, which he was doing, and he did not want to do this race in between stints sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, that was fair enough. But anyway, we're on a second run here, going down into turn 12 here. We've got traffic that is really affecting us here, and that has just literally just ruined our lap there. I'm sorry, Laggy, but mate, that was just very, very late bailing out of that one here. And you can tell I was literally showing my absolute disgust there with Laggy there. I know we're probably good mates off the track, and we were teammates back in season 3, but yeah, I mean, got to be honest, I don't think he was really looking in his mirrors there. Probably wasn't expecting me to come up flying there on a actual flying lap there, but yeah, pretty much run 2 there was ruined, so we had to come straight back into the pit lane. Had to wait obviously a little bit because of my teammate as he come into the pit lane first, which was fine, no dramas to that, but there's still plenty of time left up our sleeve as well. But here's a replay on board with Laggy. You can probably tell it doesn't even look behind at all here until I think pretty much last minute here. And yeah, this turns it a little bit left. They're probably aiming for the corner there, but yeah, it just doesn't see me at all. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about that one, but fair to say I was absolutely furious at that one. But yeah, I probably could have taken that one to the stewards, but I decided to let that one go because obviously Laggy and I, we've obviously been teammates in the past, so he probably didn't mean it to do it on purpose there. But you see there's actually on top of the moment of the qualifying session ahead of Death Row and New Zealand Venom, so might be still very handy check go for the pole position. But obviously with Ryan not racing, there is potential possibility that a new race winner could be crowned today, or for this race I should say. So and another race winner to the overall for AOR Oceania, the F1 tier. So we'll have to wait and see how that pans out later in the race. But anyway, this is our flying fastest lap, actually, of the qualifying session here as we coming through into turns 3, 4, literally an S section through here. You're literally not going to muck up here. You just put one wheel wide and it could literally just ruin your lap time as we go up a bit on sector 1. Not by much, about nearly 4/100 of a second, and those turns 8 and 9 section was sort of bugging me a fair bit there, or 7, 8 and 9 I should say, because it was just hard to tell which way, to get the flow of the car. But obviously, this is probably these last couple of sectors are probably where I would gain my the most time. Obviously, turn 11 was a shocker, as you would have seen in the first lap there. But anyway, you can literally see we're now, I think, about 1 second quicker than what we were on the previous lap. So didn't feel overall not too bad lap actually. So you can see we're about 1 second clear as Death Bro now puts himself on the provisional pole. Now, he has already had a pole position in the past. I think you have to go back to season 4 back in Britain. I think it was his last pole. But I knew there was probably still some potential contenders for the pole position. Obviously, Laggy took the pole last time out of Mexico. And I think New Zealand Venom's possibly got some pace as well. So we'll see how we go here. We're going to come across the line here. And somehow we set a provisional pole position. I seriously do not know how we did that. But it's a, what was it, a 1:31.581. But I literally thought there was no way that this would just get me pole position. And literally I was right as soon as I said it when New Zealand Venom went and put it on provisional pole for this race. But he literally, Laggy, I think, was the only one left that could pretty much steal it. But he only goes P5 there. So must have not had a great run in his qualifying lap there, unfortunately, for Laggy there. But I just got to remember myself if New Zealand Venom's had a pole. But possibly he's had one in Japan. I'm not entirely sure there. But there you go. He qualifies on pole with a 31.317 ahead of ourselves, which we get ourselves on the front row again. Still waiting on that pole position in the F1 tier, but we'll have to wait another day. Death Bro, then Matt in position 3 and 4. Then you go back to Laggy, Ellison, the Butler, Bazooka, Top B, and Coron. But it's time to go racing for the United States Grand Prix.
Of cars on the grid today. Make sure you steer clear of any incidents going into turn 1.
Thank you, Jeff. Well, we should be able to steer clear of all the drama because we've got a nice clear run down into turn 1. But welcome to the grid for the guys and girls for the United States Grand Prix. Sorry that little bit was a little bit rushed there. I got my timings a little bit wrong there. But race strategy wise, I wasn't really sure, to be honest, here, because I remember from the last game in F1 2018, you had to go from medium compound tyres to hard compound tyres. But I think this game you could maybe get away with softs to mediums here. But there's also a possibility of the 2-stop not being out of the question. We'll have to see as we set off for the formation lap.
Everything looks good on the power unit cycle, so let's concentrate on bringing tyres and brakes up to temperature.
Thank you, Jeff, as always. So, yeah, it's a bit of a struggle as to what the strategy around here was. Sort of got a little bit of info there from my teammate, who obviously he did, I think, SRL, from memory, as the practice for this on the Friday, usually before AOR on the Sunday. But yeah, I think he did the 1-stop, or might have got a call of a carnage there. I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, we'll line ourselves up on the front row here. There's got to be a fair while between drinks since I've actually been on the front row. I can't even remember the last time I was on the front row.
The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid has formed.
Probably a fair while ago, but anyway, here we go. We're all set for round number 19 here at the United States. 5 red lights. Let's do it around Austin, Texas, and it's a fairly decent start off the line. New Zealand Venom looks like he's got the run down to turn 1. Well, obviously, we'll have the corner down into turn 1. There's a very tight corner because he had a little bit of contact there with Venom as we get very sideways off into turn 2 there. And we're literally going to be swamped here by Death Bro, and swapping around the outside goes Ellis and the Butler. We've got to both literally cut the chicane. There you go, off the runoff area there, and going to lose another spot here to Master Berserk. I think that he won't have the corner for this one, but he will have this one. For this round, actually, Master Berserk is obviously he started out as a pad player and then transitioned to the wheel. Remember, for this round, I think he was actually using the pad. Don't actually know why. It probably had to do with the season overall, but anyway, we'll see how that goes there. But he had a bit of a close counter with my teammate. I think he tried to go up here, move up the inside into turn 11 there, or he had to try and keep ahead of Toppy B behind, who's actually just got ahead of him there. Had a little bit of a look at Toppy, but he managed to stick in behind for the time being. And actually, I think Death Bro's actually, his teammates actually got into the race lead there. I seriously do not know how. Berserk looked a little bit close there to the back end of LSE and the Butler. You know, of course, that's probably not ideal for me, considering where I am and considering where Butler is, considering we are both fighting for, well, they're both literally going to be, I think, 11th and 12th in the Drivers' Championship. Because I think there'll be still obviously a few minor placings to play out. But we complete lap 1, down in position 5, so not the greatest overall starts for us here. There's only 3 spots, so it's still literally a long race here, and just trying to get into a bit of a rhythm here and just hang with these guys, really. You can see we're sort of trying to keep in touch here with Berserk in front of us here, and obviously 3 leaders are not getting away too early, too soon, I don't think. But we have a little bit of back end loss there, or sorry, I should say oversteer there, coming out of turn 9 there, I think it was, down into turn 11. We just go around a little bit wide there, and had to re-straighten the car there a little bit there. You can see Toppy B's right all over the back of our gearbox here, literally just nearly pushing us through here. But we might just have a fraction more straight line speed, I think. But I knew it was probably going to be a matter of time before he made a move, and there he goes up the inside into turn 12, and he pretty much makes that move stick. There's a little bit to think about it. Obviously now battling away with our teammate here as we get a little bit sideways there, and Leo had to literally cover the inside line here, and get a little bit close for comfort there with Toppy B, but managed to get away with that there, so that's all well. But now both our alpha boys are going side by side here, which was not ideal at the time, but somehow we managed to keep it all clean there. And Laggy's not had a great start either. He's dropped a couple of spots, but now he's going to have a look up the inside here, and just trying to avoid getting a track extension warning there as well. So just pretty much decided to let Laggy go by there and pretty much not argue the point. So space of a couple of laps, we've gone from the front row to P8. So doesn't really look overly too impressive at the moment here, as we get our second track extension warning and then a 3-second time penalty, and literally I was just all over the place really. But just had to try and settle it back down and try and get back into a rhythm here. But you can probably just see in the foreground here, you see that my teammate and Laggy are sort of battling away for a 6th and 7th, I should say. Because I think Laggy tried to get a move done, but he's still battling away here with Matt going through this slow section here. Matt has got the inside line here. Obviously, Laggy will try the in and out. Crisscross there, and it's literally still going side by side.
Is looking positive so far. We think there's plenty of life left in these for the moment.
Obviously, Jeff gives us a little update on the tyre wear, which wasn't too bad. But again, these two are still battling away in front here, and I think Laggy will probably have him down here into turn 1, which he does. So Laggy moves himself up into P6, and my teammate now back into position 7. So not a good day overall here at the moment here. You probably see just in the foreground now, if you look in the mini-map down below, I think the lead has actually changed again. It looks like the Red Bull of LSE and the Butler's actually taken the lead of the race. So it's been a few changes of lead and a few changes of positions up a bit further. So the felt at this point, we're probably still not out of the challenge here of probably trying to get onto the podium here, or maybe even trying a race victory here. You can see literally it's just literally a traffic jam up here, but just behind, I think LSE and the Butler just starting to pull away here from New Zealand Venom. He's sort of slowly but surely pacing himself here, and there's the other guys a little bit further on. It looks like not a lot's going on here at the current moment, obviously, but we've just kept ahead. I think Brazuca behind had a little bit of a moment, or we actually got past, I think, from Conrad. So there's a little bit of a battle going on here. I don't know who those cars were in front. It might be both Mercedes boys, actually. Oh, no, there's a little bit of contact there. I'll take that back. That might have been the racing point. Actually, there's a little bit of front wing end plate gone there. So I'd assume that it was one of the Mercedes, and I'm going to assume it's Death Bro, because with where he's positioned here at the moment, obviously he did have the race lead a little bit earlier on, but he sort of dropped away a little bit later on. So to keep an eye on that one to see which one of these cars actually comes in straight into the pit lane. And it is Death Bro here that comes straight in. So he'd be probably going for an early strategy call here and obviously change the front wing. But no, never mind. He's actually retired from the session there. And yeah, to make matters worse here, he's actually left the session. And usually, obviously, Ryan is the host of the lobby. So, but obviously with him not racing, had to get Death Bro, because he has hosted a few lobbies in the past. And as soon as he left the lobby, pretty much it just pretty much knocked me out of the lobby as well. Yeah, I don't know how exactly that happened, but it was all very weird at the time anyway. And even just chatting with Matt during this part, because we were still chatting to each other in a party chat. So that was probably one positive to come out of that. That we'll still be able to to communicate through the party, but obviously lost connection somehow. Don't exactly know how it's ended up like this, but yeah, we're going to have to literally quit them out of here and try and rejoin again. But see what we can decipher here a little bit with what happened with Death Bro. So he's right behind Master Berserk, who's actually got himself up into position 2 here as Death goes for a move up the inside. There's a little bit of contact and there is a bit of wing damage there. So that might explain a little bit to do with what happened maybe a little bit later on in the lap. But this is a little side by side with your teammate. That's not ideal. Trying to make a move stick and unfortunately couldn't quite do so in the end. But it obviously, I think later on, made contact with the racing point of New Zealand Venom here. But obviously, with the help of my teammate, who did send me an invite back, got myself back into the lobby here. And yeah, it's pretty simple with this, as Master Berserk's now actually out of the Grand Prix. So I didn't actually capture what exactly happened here, but not sure whether that was related to whether, obviously, because, like I said, this race he was racing on the pad, and obviously I did say in the past he was originally a pad player, but obviously now he's sort of transitioned a bit into the wheel, so I don't know exactly what has occurred there, but Berserk's had another, you can say, not a great season overall again for Berserk. Just needs some consistent results, really, this poor Berserk. But anyway, we're back racing again, lap 9. A couple of guys have come into the pit lane in the form of Top Banter and New Zealand Venom. So we're
stay Venom!
As Conrad just set the fastest lap of the race currently, but I would assume that wouldn't last too long here as cut towards the end of lap 9 here. I sort of gave authority to my teammate here. He had pit priority, so I think he's come straight into the pit lane here, as well as Elysia and the Butler. We're going to stick it out for probably one more lap, I think it is, even though we missed racing for about a lap or two anyway. But yeah, just getting back to the issue with Death Bro. Like I said, I do not know exactly what happened, but yeah, cheers Death for that one. So basically, you when the rules stated if you're the lobby host, you're not supposed to leave the lobby. So yeah, really do appreciate that one, Death. But anyway, Laggy now gets past us here into well, I didn't hold him up there at all, really. Just decided to let him go. He's not in our race, really, and he's obviously already come into the pit lane. I think he came in probably when I was trying to get an invite back and rejoining the lobby. So we're going to come into the pit lane at the end of this lap. So we're probably going to have one of the guys that has a bit of the freshest rubber in the end. As I think Toppy is now going to move himself up into second position. We're going to nicely slow down. Nicely done. Where we feed out here, I think we're going to be behind the pack a little bit here. So as we are just having a little bit of a moment there, because I had a bit of a glitch there. You can probably tell on the top left, the sector 1 yellow flag was pretty much stuck there on the top left. So
release.
Don't be alarmed if you see that still stuck there, because Yeah, I don't know what that was. It's probably just a little bit of a glitch there. Not entirely sure what it is, but yeah, I tried rectifying it, but in the end it just pretty much stayed there anyway. But we just come out ahead of Conrad and managed to keep in position 6 here. So we begin lap 11 here. We're going to stick aboard this lap here because this is actually during the race. I think let me have a look here. Was this my personal best lap or maybe my fastest lap overall of the race? And I don't know what it was. Maybe the soft tyres and the setup I was running, and pretty much it is a random setup, just guessing on the go here a little bit as well. But and probably a little bit of help with other guys that in the form of like watching YouTube videos and getting a bit of an idea how the setups work on these cars, especially. There's a bit of a just giving you the words right. It's been a bit of a struggle all around here, but we went purple there through sector 1 there. I think we're up about. God, that would be a good question here. I don't know exactly how far up we were in the end. It might have been, 0.7 of a second here. So definitely improving as we go through the lap here. And I don't know what it was, but probably I felt a lot more comfortable on the medium compounded tyres compared to the softs. I don't know. Again, probably has something to do with the setup anyway. But
okay, gap ahead is 11.5 seconds.
You can see it's quite a fair gap actually to Ellis and the Butler ahead. So unless we sort of pick up the pace or they start to drop away a little bit, this might be the position we stay in for the rest of the race. We're obviously pulled away from Conrad. Possibly, I don't know whether he's made his pit stop yet or not, or whether he's going to have to do another stop at the end of the race here. But we come across through the final corner here and down the front straight. Literally, like I said, we set the fastest lap of the race. Like, I don't know how we did it.
Good job.
But that was the way we did it, with a literally 2.2 seconds quicker at the time anyway than my previous lap. So it's 35.643 now, fastest lap of the Grand Prix here.
They're on fresh mediums. Their tyres are 3 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 37.4. They have a time penalty of 6.0.
That is also critical as well. We'll get an update on lap 13. We'll get an update behind on Ellis Butler's teammate.
Our gap behind is 6.2 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. Their tyres are 2 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:37.3. They have a time penalty of 3.0.
Okay, so both the Red Bulls have actually got penalties all round here. So we'll keep an eye on that one.
Gap to the car in front is 10.7 seconds. A new strategy is available on the MFD.
Getting a new strategy change already by Jeff there on lap 16 here. But one of the strategy ones was just to stay at the one stop. I don't know why I picked the bottom one there. Probably just the random one that I usually pick anyway. It's probably just the rubbish strategy anyway. Is probably not even necessary at this point. There's a yellow flag behind. It looks like the Renault of Lockster, I think, is actually doing a bit of work here as well, helping out my teammate, keeping an eye on warnings and who's got penalties a bit further up, because considering where I am in this race, pretty much just pretty much bored here at this part of the race here. We're running in wide again through turn 11 there, so yeah, this is pretty much a real struggle here. And again, just sort of helping out here, considering where he's battling close to New Zealand Venom. He's got 1 penalty by the looks of things, and Matt's obviously on 2 warnings. But like I said, both the Red Bull cars have both got penalties. Butler's got 6 and Brazuca's got 3. But come the end of lap 18 here, I was a bit surprised actually to see Ellis and the Butlers actually come in for a second pit stop. Obviously, he's gone on to the much fresher soft compounded tyres, but yeah, I was very puzzled as to why he's actually come in sort of a bit later on in the Grand Prix. I would have thought he could easily get away with the one stop around here, but he obviously get the fastest lap of the race now with a 34.3, I think it was. There's something like 34.5, I should say, but yeah, it was just a bit of a confusion, that one. I just don't understand, really. I mean, yes, you probably get the extra bonus point there.
Okay, the gap behind is 2.3 seconds. They're on old softs. Their tyres are 4 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 35.3. They have a time penalty of 9.0.
But I would have thought possibly would have preferred track position compared to outright speed, obviously, because obviously he will get most possibly the extra bonus point. But like I said, considering we are battling for the minor placings in the Drivers' Championship, I would have thought he would have preferred it. Like, if I'd done that, I'd probably look a little bit like a fool there. But yeah, obviously, I probably prefer having the position outright, so obviously I can gain some more points on Butler behind. But obviously he feels a bit different as we lose the back end coming out of turn 1 there.
3 laps of fuel remaining.
There's obviously
gap ahead is 13.2 seconds.
Yeah, the gap ahead to my teammate was just astronomical. There's no way I was catching him. It was just more keeping an eye on the gap behind to Ellis and the Butler there, and it did start to drop back quite a little bit here, as you'll probably be able to see for these last couple of laps here. I did keep an eye on the sector times here just to try and obviously keep that gap. Obviously, if I finished like this, if it finished like this, so obviously trying to break the slipstream a little bit from Butler just to try and stop him from gaining a little bit more time. But obviously, if the race finished like this, I'd pretty much finish in P5, and Butler would have to literally pass me and then build a 6-second gap. Which, I mean, it's not impossible, he could do, but the way we're driving at the moment, we're very wide here. But literally, these last couple of laps here, we're just pretty much just trying to stay focused and just keep ahead of him here and make sure he doesn't get in our DRS, which lap 27, you can see the gap was probably the lowest it was, just a bit over a second there. So it was sort of starting to drop away quite a bit here, and I think it got under a second at one point. We did try and we did gain a bit more during sector 2 there, so I think we got it out to about 1.6 seconds there. But and obviously just trying to keep him ahead, keep us ahead, I should say, so he doesn't. Obviously, if we keep ahead of the 1 second bracket, then obviously he won't get DRS, which will be an added bonus there. But yeah, there's also a bit of an awkward moment there for both the streamer. Well, actually, yeah, for both the commentators in Jess and Charlie.
Final lap of the race.
You probably would have seen there in the bottom that they've actually left the session there, and that was due to I think there's like a little bit of a lobby issue where when the host sort of changes, it sort of glitches it out a bit or something or other. But yeah, I think, oh, sorry, Fens might have been commentating this one as well, but he was pretty much the only one I think that was still stuck in the lobby, I think, and he was sort of giving a radio rundown of the rest of the race. So fair play to Fens. They're doing his best to keep up to date with what was going on here, but we're going to come across the line here. We have managed to hold off Ellis and the Butler, and we'll gain some added points here. We'll finish in position 5 in the end, and obviously Butler, they'll finish in P6, but obviously I don't think it's going to be much difference actually in the points when you think about it. I think considering we'll finish 5th, we get 10 points, I think, and 6, is 8 points, plus the added fastest lap is 9 points. So literally it's not all that bad, but we do gain just literally a point there. But the Ferrari sort of streak, you could say, continues, because Laggy actually went on to, win the Grand Prix, but, not on track actually, because Toppy B actually won the race on track, but unfortunately he did have a penalty. I think it was like a corner cutting penalty that cost him his first ever race victory. So fortunately for Toppy, he'll have to wait a little bit longer, unfortunately. So yeah, he just had one more penalty compared to Laggy. So Laggy takes his first victory in the F1 tier of AOR. Not his first victory overall in AOR, but it'd probably be a fair long time between drinks for Laggy. But Toppy B ran in second place and Venom in P3. Good solid result for Alfa Romeo with the teammate P4 and then myself P5. Butler in 6th, Brazuca 7th, Conrad in 8th, Lockster in 9th gets his first points, and unfortunately DNFs for both Master Berserk and I'm Deathbro. And if you're wondering, even though Master Berserk finished 10th, he won't score any points for this race. So championship-wise, doesn't really change much up the top, really. 220 points between Ryan and Alan. But Laggy's looking pretty settled at the moment to possibly wrap up 3rd in the championship. Obviously, still 2 rounds to go. But depending on whether Warden turns up for the last couple of races, it'll be interesting to see. But Warden may have a bit of a battle with New Zealand Venom, who's starting to close in here for P5. Then you got my teammate there in 6th. Palms for the win in 7th, Deathbro in 8th, Master Berserk in 9th, and Toppy B managed to get himself into, I think, kept himself at the top 10, but closing that gap. But We're still P11, obviously, gaining 1 point out of all that. So it's now 9 points between ourselves and LSCM, the Butler. And you got Brazuka there in P13. Conrad in P14. Ahead of his teammate Kai was in 15. And Lockstar rounding out the 16 drivers. And also, if you're wondering, yeah, Icarus had to pull out. Or decided to pull out, actually, of AOR because he didn't feel like he would keep up with the quicker guys. With us quick guys in this tier, which is, I mean, that's fair enough in the end, really, but great to have Icarus there. But 378 points now is the gap between Ferrari and Haas. It's not, I think Haas was pretty much wrapped up second in the Constructors' Championship, but third now. Racing Point has now jumped up into position 3 ahead of McLaren. And it's a fairly tight battle you can see there for the minor placings there. Mercedes in P5, us Alfa Romeo in P6. Toro Rosso really dropped the way there, obviously, with both their drivers pulling out mid-season back in 7th ahead of Red Bull, who've now hit the 100-point barrier. In the 100-point barrier, then Renault and Williams running at 10. But I'll leave you now with the highlights. Unfortunately, didn't capture all the highlights because it only captured the highlights when I rejoined the lobby. But hopefully enjoyed the United States Grand Prix of AOR, Oceania. If you did, be sure to give it a big smash on that like button. As always, you can leave your comments down below. Subscribe to my channel for plenty more AOR Oceania content on F1 2019, plus plenty more video gaming content as well. As always, all my social media links will be down in the description, plus you can check out the links for the AOR YouTube channel, the website, and the social media channels. They'll be all down there as well. But yeah, until the next time, which will be the Brazilian Grand Prix, the penultimate round, actually, for AOR Oceania, it is goodbye, and I'll see you all next time.